Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mind Blown 10-Minute Curiosity. Today we're going on an adventure into a place bigger than anything you've ever imagined. A place with no end, no walls, and no ceiling. We're talking about infinity. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that infinity is all around us and it's super fun to think about? Grab your thinking caps because we're about to explore the mind-bending math that never ever ends. So, what exactly is infinity? Is it just a really big number? Well, not exactly. Imagine you start counting 1, 2, 3, 100, 1,000, a million. You could keep counting forever and ever, and you'd never run out of numbers. That's the basic idea of infinity. It's not a destination you can reach. It's a journey that never stops. Think of it like a road that goes on forever. No matter how far you drive, there's always more road ahead. That's infinity. Let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine a super special hotel called the Infinity Hotel. This hotel has an infinite number of rooms, and tonight it's completely full. Every single room has a guest. Now, a new guest arrives and needs a room. What do? Tell them to go away? Nope. The hotel manager has a clever trick. She asks every guest to move one room down. The guest in room 1 moves to room 2. The guest in room 2 moves to room 3, and so on, forever. Since the rooms go on infinitely, everyone has a new room, and now room 1 is free for our new guest. Mind-boggling, right? That's the paradox of the Infinity Hotel. In the world of infinity, there's always room for more. But wait, it gets even weirder. What if an infinite number of new guests arrive on an infinitely long bus, a full hotel, and an infinite number of new people? Still no problem for our genius manager. This time, she asks every guest to move to the room number that is double their current room number. The guest in room 1 moves to room 2. The guest in room 2 moves to room 4. The guest in room 3 moves to room 6, and so on. Now, all the odd-numbered rooms 1, 3, 5, 7, and on are empty. And guess what? There are an infinite number of odd-numbered rooms, exactly enough for our infinite busload of new guests. This shows us something amazing about infinity. It doesn't follow the normal rules of numbers we use every day. Okay? So we know infinity isn't just one big number. But did you know there are different sizes of infinity? How can one endless thing be bigger than another endless thing? This idea completely blew mathematicians' minds. Let's think about numbers again. We have the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. There's an infinite amount of them, right? We call this a countable infinity because, in theory, you could count them if you had forever. Now, think about all the numbers between 0 and 1. You might think there aren't that many, but what about 0.5 and 0.1 and 0.12? and 0.123456789, and so on. It turns out you can have decimal numbers that go on forever without repeating. Between any two numbers you can pick, there's always another one in between. Always. The number of these in-between numbers, called real numbers, is a bigger infinity than the infinity of counting numbers. You can't even list them in order to count them. So we have a small infinity and a giant mega infinity, and there are even bigger infinities beyond that. It's like an endless staircase of endlessness. So where can we find infinity in the real world? Well, look up at the night sky. How big is the universe? Scientists believe the universe is either infinitely large or so mind-bogglingly huge that it might as well be. If you could travel in a spaceship in a straight line forever, you might never reach an end. The space between atoms, the endless possibilities in the future infinity, is a concept that pops up everywhere when we start asking the biggest questions. Think about a circle. How many points are on the edge of a circle? An infinite number. Or think about reflections. If you stand between two mirrors facing each other, you see a reflection of a reflection of a reflection that goes on forever. That's a little peek into infinity, right in your own room. Infinity isn't just an abstract math idea. It's a way of describing the boundless and amazing reality we live in. Another fun paradox is Zeno's paradox. Imagine you want to walk to a wall. First, you have to walk half the distance. Then you have to walk half of the remaining distance. Then half of that new distance, and so on. You're always covering half of what's left, so you're always getting closer. But you're dividing the distance into an infinite number of smaller and smaller steps. The paradox says ULL never actually reach the wall because there's always another tiny half to cross. Of course, we know in real life you do reach the wall. This paradox shows us how our brains can get tangled up when we try to apply simple logic to the concept of infinity. It forces us to think differently about space, time, and motion. So, infinity is a number that's not a number. It comes in different sizes, and it creates puzzles that have stumped the greatest thinkers for centuries. It shows us that math is not just about getting the right answer in school. It's a creative and wondrous adventure into the deepest mysteries of our universe. It challenges our imagination and pushes the limits of what we think is possible. Every time you think about forever, you're being a mathematician and an explorer. The next time you look at the stars, or count numbers just for fun, or see your reflection stretching into the distance between two mirrors, remember the mind-bending, never-ending idea of infinity. It's a concept so big it can hold an infinite number of hotel guests and still have room for more. It's a reminder that there's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to be amazed by. The universe is full of secrets, and infinity is one of its biggest and most exciting ones. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey to the edge of numbers and beyond. I hope your mind is as blown as mine is. What other huge questions do you have about the universe? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you had fun. And subscribe to Mind-Blown 10-Minute Curiosity for more adventures into the amazing world of science and wonder. I am Venant. See you next time.